You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right. Hello, Night Nation. Hello, Orlando. This is Andrew Phegley, and this is Knightline at Night. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Bar Law. Assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your new Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. And if you need a new or used car, truck, or Jeep, you can call me, Andrew Phegley, at 386-736-3000, or visit me at DeLand Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in DeLand, Florida. We're taking your calls, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. Once again, I'm Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. I got Roger Phipps with me at Bengal on Twitter from the Santa Rosa Beach studios, and you can find all the rest of our content on NightlineSports.com. A big week. A lot of things going on in UCF sports this week, Roger. Lots and lots of stuff. We've got golf going on. We've got track and field. We've got soccer. We've got softball, baseball. I don't know. We may even have some soccer going on. Golf. All of the spring sports are kicking right now. So where do we start, Roger? What do you think?
I don't know. For me, I'd like to start with the two clean sweeps that we had this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, with baseball, they just wrapped up, finished a clean sweep of the Cows to clinch the War on I-4 series in UCF's favor yet again. So the trophy will be heading home to our trophy case. And our softball team,
I think it'll be staying in our case, because I don't think they've ever won it since we.
They won it. They won the football, not the series, but the football.
Yeah. So the actual trophy has always stayed in our possession.
Correct.
Since the beginning. Yeah. So it's staying.
When we do it one more year next year, hopefully it'll be permanently. I don't know, if the series survives. There's been a lot of chatter about that not happening. Obviously, the War on I-4 series won't, but whether the football series will continue or anything else. So, with the help in between the baseball team and the softball sweep last weekend, the trophy stays home. So that's exciting news.
Right, yeah. So we could talk about that for a second. Do you think that it should continue, the War on I-4 football game at least, and why? Or why not?
Ooh, good question. And we've kind of discussed this a couple of times since the Big 12 announcement offline. But for me, I feel like if we can keep any of the sports series going, I think that's a positive thing for a few reasons. One, we've got history there, obviously, and I'd love to return the favor now that we will be in a P5 conference, and they're not. And number two, it gives us another game in state, so it gives us the ability to show off to recruits in Tampa. And when we're talking about the Florida Gator model, where they tend to play most of their games in state, if we can add another in-state game that's consistently there, I'd like to keep it.
All righty. Well, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I don't want to keep it. And here's why. When they were in a Power 5 conference and we weren't, they were in the Big East before the American. And they shunned us for years. And did not let us compete with them, and thought that they were so much better than us. And obviously we've proved the last few years that we're quite a bit better than them in all sports. And so I think we should give them a dose of their own medicine, to be honest with you, and act like they don't exist, because they're irrelevant in any sport. as far as I'm concerned. Maybe women's basketball, they were all right. I don't know how they did in the tournament because I don't really care to know, to be honest with you. But football, they're horrible. They've been horrible the last couple of years. And I think we just need to look on to bigger and better things. Yes, I know it's a big rivalry, but we need a rival in the Big 12 as well. So we need a rival like Cincinnati, could easily be our rival. I think we opened the door for them to get into the college playoff. They probably think that we didn't, for them. So, and that has become, kind of a big rivalry itself, and we're moving on. And then there's Houston as well, who has always, been, back and forth with UCF as well. So, I just feel like that we need to have somebody that's on our same level, on the same playing field that we are, that is our rival, instead of a school that is not. And I'm pretty sure that this was their sentiment at that point as well. So, from the treatment that we got from them for years and years, it's time to give it back. Because they didn't treat us well. They tried to keep us out, I know, of things. So let's do the exact same thing to them. Treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. So, I mean,
harsh words from Andrew Phegley today.
No, just teach them a lesson. That's what they did to us. So we should treat them the same.
See, I look at it more practically. I'm thinking, okay, so our choices are we're going to have in-state games, especially as preseason tune-up games.
There's lots of other teams in Florida to play.
Well, I was going to say, you've got FAU, FIU, right? Occasionally
Florida State. Because we'll be on the same level as them. We're in the Big 12. We'll be Power 5.
Well, I'm not sure if Florida or Florida State will play as consistently, but if they do, then obviously tip our cap to them, and that's the direction we go. If Florida State might be more open to it than I think Florida will. I think anything that, obviously we have that series in the books that may change because of the way the SEC schedule is going to be. They may back out of those games, but I would think that FSU would be more likely to play us than UF. We actually have history with FSU. Bobby Bowden, our first football team, he gave us the shoes and the practice jerseys and helmets and things for us to continue to do that. And I can't remember the name of the actor now. Burt Reynolds, who was a big FSU. He played for FSU. Was also a big fan, also was a big draw for us and created a lot of donations for the young football team. Actually supported us, donated our first horse for when you see Nitro right onto the field.
That would be Pegasus.
Yep. So that, I don't know if, I assume they called him Pegasus back then too. I don't know.
Now he's called Pegasus, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, at the end of the day, I would think that UF has a vested interest in not allowing us to come to prominence and kind of challenge them for recruits or brand or whatever when it comes to the football space. So I think they'd be more hesitant than others.
I don't think we're going to have, once we're in the Power 12. Once we're in the Power 5 in the Big 12, I don't think that we're going to have to really worry about Gainesville that much taking recruits from us. Have you been to Gainesville ever?
I have several times.
It is an ugly place, in my opinion. Why wouldn't you come to the palm trees and the beautiful life of theme parks and everything else in Orlando and play for the up-and-comer, play for the underdog, instead of going to a school like that? I mean, in my opinion, if I was a college-age kid, I would much rather come to the glitz and the glamour and the nightlife and everything else that is UCF in Orlando versus going to Gainesville or Tallahassee as well, in my opinion. And of course, Gus Malzahn is here. And seems like every player that has ever played for him, well, not every player, but most players that have played for him, really talk about how wonderful he is as a coach and everything else. Not everybody. There has been a select few that probably didn't get along, but, Orlando and UCF is just a little bit different than those other, older universities, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. The only thing that I'll say is there's still that huge SEC draw. The Big 12 brand, unfortunately doesn't get the props that it should, considering how good it's been in football, especially compared to the other Power 5, the ACC and the Pac-12. But there's still that draw for some kids that they're going to go play in the SEC for Florida. I mean, their success, especially recently, the program itself has been absolutely atrocious for most of its existence, and until the few years in the 90s there, where they won under Spurrier and they won under Urban Meyer. So other than that, the history's been atrocious. However, it's still a brand and it's still a name, and I could see that swaying a little bit. But I agree with you. I think,
and they sell tons of shirts at Walmart. I mean,
yeah, they do. They do
to people that never went there and everything else. So I mean, I guess that they have that going for them. I mean, obviously, they have a long history. Both schools have a long history of football, much longer than we do. Blah blah blah. But the newcomer, is kind of the up and comer, and in my opinion, the cooler place to be. So I think that's going to follow through. I think that's going to resonate with younger players and all that. They're going to see what Orlando is like compared to those places. And, we're going to have quite a stage to play on with the Big 12. And I think with adding the teams that they're adding, I think that's only going to add to, the quality of the Big 12, and everything else. So I think we got a lot going for us. Gus Malzahn seems to think and say all the time, and the players do and everything else, this is the future of college football here in Orlando. So, I mean, I don't want to be, too arrogant or whatever about it, but I just feel like we're in a really good place, and those other, schools aren't so much in a good place like we are. Yes, the SEC has obviously some prominence, but your team has to be, and your program has to be worthy of that prominence as well, Yeah,
I do think both programs are in a little bit of a quagmire, right? So I don't see FSU getting any better. In fact, I see their head coach being on the hot seat
already. He's only been there a couple of years.
Yeah, and then you've got Billy Napier, right, who just took over at Florida. I don't see a lot of success there. They've kind of been a mess since Urban Meyer left. So if we make a splash in the Big 12 in the first couple of years, I definitely think that could help us continue that prominence, as we've been the number one team in the state, as we've so proudly announced to everyone. So
yeah, and speaking of Florida not wanting to play us, like you were saying earlier, I think that they probably do now, because they want to get that game back, the bowl game. They want to get that mark off of the board. We beat them in a bowl game. I'd love to hear from some Florida fans and Florida State fans. That'd be great if y'all want to call in and talk to us. That could be fun. So we'll wait through the commercial break that we're getting ready to do here, and hopefully somebody will call and want to argue with us a little bit. That would be fun today.
Chop it up.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We don't get enough of that. I've always called for fans of other schools, and especially the Florida schools, to call in and make the case of why or why not. So, all right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back. We're going to have a little fun today.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chad Barr Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chad Barr Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices, Altamont Springs.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Looking for more out of your Porsche? Look no further than Flat6Motorsports.com. They have the widest selection of aftermarket Porsche parts anywhere in the world. With over 85 product lines and in-depth expertise, Flat6Motorsports.com is your one-stop shop for any Porsche performance needs. Whether you're shopping for intakes, exhausts, suspension, or tuning, they have you covered. Flat6Motorsports.com is the premier Porsche aftermarket specialist. Check them out at Flat6Motorsports.com.
And now, back to Nightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Nightline at Night with you. I'm Andrew Phegley, live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law. We're talking UCF sports here. Nightline at Night is the name of the show. Yes, it's the evening, I know. But anyway, we're having a
details.
Details. Well, it's moved 3 or 4 times. So going on right now, though, I'm watching on ESPN Plus is UCF softball playing, what is it? I can't.
Virginia Tech, number 5.
Yeah. So what is are we 24 or 20? We're number 20.
We're 20. Uh-huh.
And the Virginia Tech right now is up 1-0. It is the bottom of the 4th. So I think we're on a winning streak still, though, right, Roger?
No, we lost to Florida, unfortunately, 3-10. And then we lost the first game in this doubleheader to Virginia Tech, 1-0. Consequently, they scored one run in the first and nothing since then. So hopefully this one doesn't end the same way.
All right. Well, we were on a really good winning streak, so
third in the country.
Kind of bummed that was going that has ended. But also baseball, pretty big stuff today as well over the weekend, right?
Yeah, 3 big wins against the Cows, who were receiving votes, had been playing really, really well, and our pitching staff just did phenomenally. Had a no-hitter the first game, the second game had a 1-hitter, and then this last game just outlasted the Cows. The Cows scored 4 runs in the 4th. It was the only time they had scored runs the entire weekend. And then we had a big bottom of the 5th and, got ourselves up 5-0 and we're able to hold on for the win of 5-4 and then tacked on a few more in the 8th and ended up holding on for the win 8-4. So comeback win for our Knights.
Good deal. All right. How's baseball doing overall? They're doing fairly well now?
They're middle of the pack, but they got hit by the injury bug. We actually had 4 major injuries that hit. Connor Stain, who pitched the no-hitter in the first game, was actually out. He's our number 1 ace, and he came back for this series. So this was the first time he'd been back, and we'd stumbled a little bit since he'd been out with our pitching. And then we also had another big hit to our pitching staff in Hunter Pattison, who also went out with an injury, and he is slated to be back for the Memphis series, which is the next series that they will play, which is big news because our hitting has been pretty good. Our pitching, though, gets a little light. We've got 3 or 4 good ones in the rotation, but when you lose your 2 top pitchers, it's kind of hard to maintain that. You always have that third pitcher that in this case, Litchfield, who hasn't been pitching the same way as he had been in years past after his injury. So, with some of the freshmen stepping up, they're looking good. With our pitching staff getting back to full strength, I expect us to start firing on all cylinders again.
All righty. Pro Day for football was last week. What was it, Friday or Thursday or Friday, I think. It was on ESPN Plus, which was kind of cool to see. But
it wasn't.
What do you mean it wasn't?
It was slated to be on ESPN Plus, but they had technical difficulties and it didn't end up. They had a problem with the internet or something, and the NFL decided to push it up an hour. So unfortunately, nobody got to see any of the Pro Day. It was slated for ESPN Plus, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw the replay of it, so it was on there. Maybe it was
the replay. Yes.
Yeah. So that was still cool to have it on ESPN Plus, even if it was the replay or whatever. It was.
And the only issue this year was they didn't really let the UCF staff, as they've had every other year in years past, to be in the huddle and record numbers for our guys. So unfortunately, a lot of the 40 times and those kinds of things are yet to be displayed.
They were on the broadcast though.
Oh, were they?
Yes.
I didn't get to watch the rebroadcast.
Well, if you have ESPN Plus, you can go to the little part that says the American, and you can find it in there in the replays. So,
gotcha.
It was kind of a post show is what they did of, afterwards. It was Mark Daniels and Gus Malzahn and Gary Parrish that were out there, and they kind of talked about what went on, but they talked to Mackenzie as well. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get back. Another commercial here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about UCF football. Back on Knightline at Night here in a minute. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love Tijuana Flats. I would love them even if they weren't a partner with us on the Knightline Sports Network. They have all kinds of great Tex-Mex food, and it's fresh, by the way. Made to order burritos, tacos, enchiladas, chimichangas, quesadillas, bowls, nachos, and taco salads. And if you haven't tried the queso, you are completely missing out. It is the best queso that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely hands down. And the sauce bar that they have, everything from wild to mild in there. Absolutely awesome stuff. Not only do I love the food at Tijuana Flats, but I love the company, a UCF-born company. And they give back to the community with the Justin Queso Foundation. So head to your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. Hey Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain? Or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night with you. I'm Andrew Phegley, live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your new Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. And If you need a new or used car, truck, or Jeep, you can call me, Andrew Phegley, at 386-736-3000, 386-736-3000, or you can come and visit me and look at what we got on our lot at DeLand Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in DeLand, Florida. We're also taking your calls here if you want to talk about some sports, UCF sports, or whatever, I guess. 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. Once again, I'm Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. Got Roger Phipps with me at Night Bengal on Twitter from the Santa Rosa Beach studios, and you can find all the rest of our content on NightlineSports.com. Ben is off for the weekend, traveling for work. So it's just the two of us, Roger. That song should have played right there. Just the two.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Exactly.
We just ruined radio.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah, we're talking UCF sports. We were talking, I think going into the break, we were starting to talk about how football pro day was on ESPN Plus, or maybe not on ESPN Plus. It was slated to be live. I guess it was delayed, whatever, but I got to watch the replay. It was pretty cool. Mackenzie Milton was actually at UCF's pro day, which was pretty cool. So he threw at UCF's pro day. I guess he did not throw at Florida State's pro day. Must have ran and did other things there, but not throw. So he chose to come home and throw, which is really cool, in my opinion. From what I saw, it looked great. They talked to him a little bit after that, and he seemed to, Mackenzie is a real dude. We've had him on our show before. We've had him on this show. And he pretty much says it like it is. And, he just wants a chance to be in the NFL. We all know that sometimes the NFL works out for people, sometimes it doesn't, but he also did mention the other football, leagues and things around. So I think he just wants the opportunity to play at a pro level and then probably go on to coaching. I think we all know that that's where his heart lies in the long run. So I think that would be great for him. And I can't wait to see where he winds up doing that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, look, anytime, the whole narrative with him going to FSU for a year, right? He was trying to do what was best for him at that particular time. We had the whole Dylan situation going on where Mackenzie would have had to go against Dylan. They were friends. They were both from Hawaii, yada, yada, yada. But Mackenzie has, since he went to FSU, and even while he was at FSU, he continued to support UCF sports. And, he's made it very, very clear that this is his home. He's involved in the name, image, and likeness company that just got spun up for UCF athletes. So he's heavily invested and involved in UCF sports. And, I get a feeling this is his home. And, I've heard from others that he's interested in coming back and would love to come back to UCF to coach. So, he's one of those guys that if his NFL dreams don't work out for him, he's well liked, he's well thought of, he's a hard worker. He's definitely someone who bleeds black and gold. So I can imagine him having a lot of involvement, and that name is not going anywhere for UCF football.
Yeah, and if I feel like if someone gives him a chance in the NFL, even to come out during camp or whatever and do his thing, I think he would be, even just to have in the locker room and everything else, would be very positive because, we've seen him. We saw him with Dylan, and he did a great job, on the sideline as well. He's been around the game. He's had the opportunity to watch the game for a couple of years while not playing. And that puts a little bit of a different perspective on it as well. So softball not going real good here. I'm watching that as we speak live. Now it is 3-0, top of the 6th. For Virginia Tech and UCF. So that's not going our way. Maybe we should turn it off. We may have jinxed them because they've scored twice since since we started watching here on ESPN Plus. So I think I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to jinx them anymore. So spring football continues, which is great. Haven't heard too much about injuries or anything coming out of that. Roger, what have you heard?
Not much about injuries at all. Gus had said that they were going to start shaking out over the next few practices. They were going to start shaking out who their two deep was, and their after their next scrimmage. So they're supposed to have a scrimmage here coming up, and he was allowing all the quarterbacks to rotate between 1s, 2s, and 3s just so he could see. But as far as injuries are concerned, it looks like, knock on wood, and I am knocking on wood here, we have come through unscathed so far. So let's hope that trend continues.
Yeah. So should be pretty exciting. The spring game coming up on, what is it, the 12th or something? What was it? April what, Roger? Do you know?
I'll have to bring it back up again.
Because I had moved off of that as well. So, back on the webpage, if I can ever get it to load. UCF's page is not great in Firefox if you've ever tried.
April 16th.
April 16th. See, I was completely wrong, which is normal for me. So, yeah, so that'll be good to see. Are you going to be able to make it out there, Roger, for the spring game, do you think, this year?
I should be able to make it out for the spring game. I've got my tickets, so I should be making it down for that game.
Awesome, yeah. Tickets are a little bit different this year too, right? Something was different about them?
It wasn't for me. I'm a season ticket holder, so for me it was just, hey, claim your tickets, and when you claim your tickets, we'll drop it in your electronic wallet or whatever. So for me, it really wasn't. So if there was something different, I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Unfortunately, I'm a car salesman, as you heard in the intro to this thing, and Saturdays are such a huge car sale day. So maybe I'll get to go to some games this year, hopefully. This has kind of been a new thing for me, so haven't been able to go to a lot of games towards the end of last season, which is really a bummer, and I hate it. But hopefully I will get to go to a few this year. I was talking with the bosses, and they said to pick a few. So that's good. It's good to even get one Saturday a year off from car sales. So it's just one of those things. So yeah, looking forward big time to the schedule and everything this year. We will be talking, so much more about this stuff between now and then, obviously, of football, but the spring game should show some people, get to see some new faces out there, and get to see some older faces that we know already as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what John Rice Plumlee does, and the rest of the quarterbacks. So
Mikey Keene, Keene supposedly took a step forward, and I'm hoping we get to see a little bit of Mr. Castellanos out there too, to see how he moves around the pocket.
Yeah, and we've all said, and I've said it for, as long as I've been talking about football, college football, that the quarterbacks make their biggest progression from their freshman to their sophomore season, and it seems like Mikey Keene, from what everybody is saying, that he has done that. So, and from what I understand, he seems to have a pretty firm hold on what's going on there, but says that he is getting pushed, obviously, by John Rice Plumlee. The other thing that I'm really excited to see is what's happening with the kickers, because I know there's a big kicker competition going on. Gus Malzahn also says that our kicker that we've had for the last couple of years, Orbowski, has really done a great job already, but he is obviously getting pushed as well. But have you heard anything on that, Roger?
Nothing other than, what Gus said, which is he's gained a lot of confidence after last year and winning with that, kicking that field goal and doing so well in that game against UF. Apparently he's really gained a lot of confidence, and that's coming through in his kicking. He said that they were doing some basically they were switching off between the kickers, and they were asking them to kick a 45-yard field goal. And if they missed, then the entire team had to do push-ups and exercises. So trying to add a little pressure to Obarski as he kicks these, and supposedly he's putting it back through the uprights. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of been the thing, I think, for years at UCF football. I think through all the coaching staffs, they've had something like that. Most football teams, in practice have the kickers kick at the very end. Heard that Colton Boomer, the freshman from Lake Mary, was doing a very good job as well. It sounded like, from what I heard, the last thing that I heard, it was kind of between him and Orbowski at this point. Riker Casey, which we all were really excited to see, still injured. Was injured all year last year, and haven't seen him. I don't think he's going live kicking at all yet. So kind of unfortunate with that situation, because I know he's a great kicker. Transferred, I believe. Where did he transfer from? I don't remember. Appalachian State. That's what it was. So was excited to see a local kid, but Colton Boomer, a local kid as well from Lake Mary. So that will be exciting. You can never have too many kickers, as far as I'm concerned. Kicker is one of those positions that you either love them or hate them. You usually talk about them when they're not doing well, don't really talk about them when they are doing well. And it's a vital position in college football, especially with the way things are now.
Well, we haven't had to. I mean, we had Patty Ice there for 4 years kicking, and he did an absolutely phenomenal job. NFL kicker now as well. He was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, kicking for them, his hometown team. And it's great when you don't have to worry about it. And when you do, it's pretty obvious. So, hopefully Obarski has taken that step forward, and we will see that in his performance and consistency when we're kicking, because there wasn't always the most confidence in his leg. Although, again, he played really, really well in that Florida win. That win against Florida, let me say it that way. Hopefully we've all been rooting for him. He's got the leg. Hopefully he's got it under control now.
Yeah, Matty Ice, and I can't remember his last name to save my life, wound up on the last roster that he was on, I believe, was for Jacksonville. He was on for Pittsburgh for a little while, and then I think towards the end of the year, won some games right at the end of the year, kicked I thought that he had almost an NFL record kick or something for Jacksonville ending the season this year. So I believe that is
his
where
last
he
name
is
was
at.
Wright, by
Matt
the way.
Wright, yes, Matt Wright. So Jacksonville, I remember there was some kind of NFL record that he set. I think it was 50-yard kicks in a game or something like that. He had multiple 50-yard kicks in one of their last games, and then he won like 2 or 3 of them right at the end with a kick or something crazy like that. So I think he has solidified himself pretty well there in Jacksonville, hopefully, because he's one of those guys that we really wanted, to do really well, obviously.
And the crazy thing was, when the season was over, he went to go work for Lockheed Martin. He's got an engineering degree, and he actually went to go work for Lockheed Martin, got a tryout, and then got on with Pittsburgh. And you're right, he is with Jacksonville and broke their 20-game losing streak when he kicked 2 fourth-quarter field goals. So he kicked a 53-yarder was the last one to beat the Miami Dolphins in London. So, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and he had an incredible record at UCF as a kicker as well. So it's been a couple of years since he's been gone, and Orbowski took over after that. All right, we'll be right back on Knightline at Night with our Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week coming up.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
And now, back to Nightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Nightline at Night with you. Live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw. It is now time for the Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Welcome to the Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Visit TijuanaFlats.com for takeout or delivery, or visit your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. All right, Tijuana Flats. Everybody knows that I absolutely adore Tijuana Flats. I love their food. I go there every chance that I get. If you haven't been in a while, get down to Tijuana Flats. They have all kinds of new stuff all the time. They have some fish tacos now, which are really exciting, and I think they may have shrimp still going on as well for tacos. So those are two really exciting things for the spring that they're doing. Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Roger, what is yours?
For me this week, I'm going to take some news from the spring game, and Jordan McDonald has been doing really, really well. And I'm going to say for my Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week that Jordan McDonald will be in the 3 deep by mid-season this season. So you'll see him on the field this season. Okay,
and who is Jordan McDonald? And what position does he play? There you go. Thank you. Because you didn't say either one of those things. So everybody's like, who? All right. That's good, though. I guess we didn't really talk about this. We talked about it during a break. But, ever since our women's basketball coach has gone to Georgia, it seems like the entire team now, all of our greatest players for women's basketball are transferring, and I'm assuming that they're going to follow her. So I'm going to say, and this is, kind of bittersweet thing to say, but I'm going to say all of these players that are transferring from UCF are following Coach Abe to Georgia, I guess. Diamond Battles, I think, is the one that hurts the most. Diamond Battles, Alicia Lewis, so far, and who else?
Brittany Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I mean, they're
sixth player of the year for the American last year.
Yeah, and Diamond Battles defensive player of the year, I believe, for the American as well. So,
correct.
Yeah, so that's just a bummer. That one hurts. Diamond Battles, because I think she was the life of our team, in fact, just because of the energy that she always had on the court. And that one kind of hurts me in a way. So I don't blame them, I guess. They have the opportunity to, go further their careers in college basketball. She has one more year left because of the COVID year. And then Alicia Lewis, transferred to us from Syracuse. Now she's transferring again. I don't know how that works. If it's usually a one-time transfer deal for free, and then you have to sit out a year. So I don't know if she sat out when she initially got here or what, but she may have to sit out again, or may have to sit out this time for real or something. I don't know. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens. And how that whole deal works out. So whoever becomes the women's basketball coach has some work cut out for him, I think, with so much of the team, such important players transferring. So we shall see, I guess. Roger, I mean,
they're basically starting from scratch, right? I mean, because remember, one of the big recruits we had, 4-star recruit, was Coach Abe's daughter as well. So, She was already on campus practicing with the team because she graduated early, and that was a big loss as well. So one of our successful programs as of late, that particular coach will have to start all over. Although I guess that may be good for their system if it's different, but I imagine we'll probably stay with a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate to see the foundation that was built here with Coach Abe, completely going away with all these players transferring. And I assume that they want to play for her. And I mean, Georgia is definitely a bigger stage than UCF is at this point for women's basketball. So I guess I can't really blame them, but I just don't like it. All right. We'll be back next week. Same time, same station. Go Knights.
Charge on.